Hi, my name is William Singh. I'm a local realtor in the Portland, Oregon area. And today we'll be talking with Jen and Ann about escrow and what that is.
Hi, Will. Thanks for having us. My name is Ann Van Gordon. I'm with Fidelity National Title, as Will said. I'm a marketing representative, and what that means is I work with realtors such as yourself, loan officers, builders, investors, and helping them with building their business, providing them tools and resources to help them grow, both with listings, buyers, sellers, people that might want to refinance their homes.
And I'm Jen Gannon. I'm an escrow officer here at Washington Square branch. And I work with the clients direct on processing their closings, whether it be a sale, a purchase, or a refinance transaction.
Okay. So for those of us who don't know what escrow is, could you please explain it to us? And let's say that I'm a 5-year-old child and I have no idea what the heck escrow is or how it plays a part in the real estate transaction.
Well, escrow basically is a neutral third party that handles the disbursement of proceeds and the recording of legal documents.
My 5-year-old brain was saying there's a middleman. So if I was on a playground and there was a broker essentially that made sure that the rules and regulations were there, that the rep that said, hey, you get the money, hey, you don't. Does that kind of sound?
So we're kind of playground teacher. Yeah.
Okay, playground teacher. All right, that's what I like to hear. Make sure that I can understand this. So tell me a little bit more. It sounds like you have kind of two different roles on the team. Obviously, Jen, you do a little bit different than what Ann does. Tell me a little bit more about what that role is and
my role, so I handle like the direct transaction itself once we have the transaction opened. So I'll work on the chain of title and getting the title report out to everyone, prepare the closing documents for everyone to sign, give them a chance to review, work with lenders if there's financing involved for a purchase, and just kind of make sure everything is organized, in line, and on track.
Okay. And for those of us who don't know what title means, you explain that a little bit more.
Yeah, so title is insurance, and it insures against defective recorded documents, or it also insures against the marketability of title itself. So when a seller sells a piece of property, they basically purchase this policy for the buyers, letting them know that they do have the authority to sell the property. They have the ownership, and that policy is their guarantee, which we insure.
That makes total sense. It sounds like essentially, and again, trying to summarize this with my 5-year-old brain, of making sure that the promise is kept, essentially, of if you're actually able to promise something to another person.
Right. Right. We want to make sure that the seller really does own the property, that there aren't any heirs lingering anywhere, there aren't any liens on the property. You know, anyone can sell a piece of property by just giving a quick claim deed over or a bargain and sale deed over. But if you don't have that title insurance, then you're stuck with whatever encumbers that property.
Okay.
So if you go through title and escrow, we're going to pull that chain of title. We're going to make sure that the seller takes care of all of his liens and encumbrances.
So you help protect the buyer quite a bit when they're in this transaction, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Okay. Ann, tell us a little bit more about what you do.
Sure. Well, I work with realtors and loan officers and investors and help them with tools, technology, any educational support that you might need, and in turn provide you tools and resources to help you build your business, to go out and find more clients and assist you with both sides of the transaction, whether you're representing a buyer or a seller, and help you, again, build your business, build your sphere of influence, and make your job easier. Find tools and resources that might make managing your day easier, provide you with technology support that might make things flow faster and simpler, and educational resources, because we all need more education in this world of real estate, keeping you informed of the latest trends and issues facing realtors.
Okay. So it sounds like you help me become better, where then I can help better serve my clients and make sure that all of that kind of
correct
goes together. Okay.
That's right.
That makes a lot of sense. Thank you very much for kind of explaining what your roles are and what escrow is. I'm sure we're probably going to get plenty of other comments of like, what exactly is that? And we'll dive into that potentially a little bit later. Tell me a little bit more about like common questions you get of like, both of you have been in this industry for a long time. What are kind of common questions you get?
Recently, I get asked from people, when is, as you know, the market's, it's unprecedented right now. It's fast and furious. And I get asked all the time, when is it going to burst? When's the bubble going to happen? And that's a really good question. I don't think this is anything like what we saw during the Great Recession of 2009. So I don't think you'll see the market burst by any means, or where we'll see a huge downturn. But with the low interest rates and low inventory, we sort of have this perfect storm. And so don't see it changing anytime soon.
Mm-hmm.
But I do get asked that quite a bit.
What do you think makes this different from 2008?
Sure. Well, I think back 2008, 2009, that issue really went back to lending practices, and we did not have the demand on inventory like we see now. I mean, we definitely have a huge generation, millennials, moving into they are the largest group of buyers coming up right now. And we don't have the inventory, and interest rates are so low. I mean, now is the time to buy. You can get so much more for your money right now. So it's really, I say it's not even apples to oranges with 2009. It's more like apples to mangoes. It's completely different set of circumstances going on.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. On my side, I see kind of three major factors. As you mentioned, interest rates dropping down. So people who could afford that 350 can now afford the 500, which then prices up. Millennials, as mentioned as well, a lot of my generation, not to date myself, are looking to buy houses now that they have a probably stable income, and then also have both pay student loans and pay for a mortgage. And then the baby boomers, I see a lot of them starting to downsize. So it's this weird collection of a lot of different factors. Is a real demand instead of like a fake demand from 2008.
Mm-hmm.
So in terms of, are there other questions that you commonly get? Like obviously kind of mentioned like what is escrow, but do you get questions through escrow about title or any common questions like that?
Yeah, we do. We get the questions, what is title, what is escrow, which I kind of explained a little bit earlier. They like to know what the difference is. Like they'll say, well, I thought escrow was my mortgage reserve. Well, there's two different types of escrows. So if you're talking about your mortgage itself, then escrow means your reserve account for your taxes and your insurance, which is completely different than escrow when you're talking about the purchase or the refinance transaction. So we'll get a lot of calls from past clients that'll say, I have a question on my escrow. You know, I got a letter saying that I have a shortage, or there's a refund coming to me, and I'll have to, you know, redirect them to their lender, because that's not the escrow that we work on here.
Okay.
And then ironically, we also get a lot of questions about car titles. We get those phone calls all the time. Yeah, I'd like to sell my car. Can you help me transfer the title? I would love to, but I can't.
Well, that definitely clarifies. There are many different kinds of escrows.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about the escrow for the cars. I got my dad's Subaru, so it was kind of one of those inherited things. Okay, and then you had mentioned some deeds. I'm a little curious if you could kind of break down those deeds, because a lot of people hear these like quick claim deeds, warranty deeds.
Right. Mm-hmm.
What are, like, let's say that usually you can kind of go by liability or like protection. So
Exactly. Yeah. So the warranty deed is what we normally will draw on a purchase and sale transaction, because it gives the warranty, and it shows the encumbrances that will remain on the property. Like if there's covenants and conditions, restrictions, or any easements on the property, they're disclosed on that deed. And so basically the seller is giving the property over free and clear except for these items, right? And then if there's a non-escrow document, like to do a quick transfer, in Oregon we use the bargain and sale deed. A lot of states use a quick claim deed, but in Oregon we use a bargain and sale deed, and that basically has no warranty of condition of property. It'll basically say, I'm giving you this property as is, basically on site, really, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the difference there. And then you can delve into different like personal representative deeds, you know, if there's an estate and there's a seller that's selling the estate, they really don't have the means to know the condition of the property. So we use the personal representative's deed that just states that they're merely selling on behalf of the estate. So they're not really giving any kind of warranty either.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it sounds like there are deeds for a variety of different situations. What is, I believe the warranty deed is the most common for most like first-time home buyers, but are there like, tell me a little bit more about who would use those deeds or what deeds are used most frequently?
But the warranty deed is definitely what we use in Oregon for any type of insured transaction. That's what we use. Because that basically gives full disclosure and provides all of the encumbrances that'll be affecting the property. The only other time you would use a different deed is, like I said, if you were doing just like if you were deeding from yourself to your spouse or something like that, where you already own the property, the buyer already technically owns the property or lives in the property, and you're just changing, you know, ownership between one another. So you really don't need to give any kind of warranty or a guarantee on the title itself.
And then obviously you work with both buyers and sellers, but I'm a little curious about why people should work with you instead of another escrow company.
I would say that, I mean, you should work with me because I have the experience, but I also have a lot of patience. And I don't think there are any dumb questions in title and escrow. And so I'm always available to answer questions or give any kind of insight that I can to all parties, buyers, sellers, agents, lenders. I'm pretty much an open book, and if I don't know the answer, then I will definitely get the answer for you as quickly as possible.
Not only is she just fantastic, but she also has a great team, and our company has tremendous resources to back her up as well, whether it be, you know, from the legal standpoint. We have a client services team, a builder development team. Jen has seen it all, and I mean, you probably have seen everything possibly imaginable in this industry. So talk about,
not over yet.
yes. Yeah, there we go. That is true. That will be interesting.
But a good team is definitely important.
Yeah, she's just
definitely have a good team.
She does. She's just phenomenal at what she does. She really is. She's one of the best.
Well, that's awesome. I personally enjoy like the fact that you do have a large team. Like to me, that is something where obviously if you don't have that, it's a lot harder. And I think that you also communicate pretty well in terms of being able to educate. A lot of people in this industry don't always like to educate, and we've all started from being a complete novice. And one of the things that I do, and it sounds like you do too, is kind of get you from novice to experienced. And that's frankly really key. Because especially if, let's say that you're a first-time home buyer, or frankly just wanting to understand the process a lot more, this is the kind of education you need in order to be successful and really understand like what's your responsibilities and how do other people help you. And I think that having a good lender, a good escrow agent, and a good realtor is kind of like building a medical team. You want to have the best of everything, that you want them to communicate well. And it's just one of those things. I'm a little curious about kind of where you see the market going. Kind of transitioning a little bit. A lot of people are afraid to buy right now or sell, and because they just keep on thinking that the rates are going to go up and up. And I'm not sure if you have data on this, but just kind of curious about what your thoughts are on when people ask you, should I buy or sell at this point?
Well, that's a good question. Yeah, I mean, you know, earlier we said inventory is at a low, and so if you're a seller, now is a great time to sell, and if you're a buyer, you probably want to buy sooner than. How long do you want to wait? I mean, prices might keep going up. What we're finding really interesting due to COVID, some buyer changes. You know, we're seeing people buy in markets outside of the core, you know, metropolitan area. We're seeing people buy in, you know, much more in the suburbs, even further out into more rural areas. We're seeing people want larger homes because maybe they're going to continue to work from home or homeschool even. So we're seeing a lot of shifts. And so now really is a good time to buy or sell. And again, is it ever going to dive, you know, down? Probably not. Will it level out? Maybe, but if I knew the answer to that.
Tell me you have that crystal ball that
I-
just like.
I'd win the lot. I'd pick the winning lottery numbers too while I'm at it. Definitely.
You're secretly a millionaire. I know it. You
I
just-
am. I just do this for fun. This is just fun. I can hang out with Jen all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree. And it's one of those things where if you ever look historically, and I'm sure you guys have data on this, home prices, if you hold on to a piece of real estate, and it's something where I preach like you should buy a property with some sort of exit strategy. If you can frankly have, or multiple exit strategies, I should say, if you can hold on to that property within a 10-year span, the likelihood that you're going to make a profit or be like in a good position, like no one has ever, I've never heard anyone be like, I bought that property in a Portland or the metro area, and 10 years later, I regret it so much. Like that is just not usually what happens. Are there any other kind of parting advice, words, or anything else?
I was just going to say that Portland is still on the West Coast. It's still an affordable city. You know, you look at Seattle, LA, San Francisco, and Portland is still considered affordable. We are still seeing people moving here to Portland. It continues to be a draw for a lot of business. A lot of people like the lifestyle out here. We've got great climate, great natural beauty. Schools are good, job market's good, so people are still moving here.
And again, back to COVID, people, they're moving here because they don't have to be near the building itself to work in. So they're moving to Portland so they can be where they want to live and then have their job.
Working remotely.
Yeah, exactly.
See a lot of that.
Yeah, which is cool. It's very cool.
Are you, just out of curiosity, are you both native Oregonians, or did you move from
I am a Washingtonian, actually.
Washingtonian? Oh, okay.
So it's so different.
Just like-
I'm actually from a very small town by Mount Rainier, so I don't even know if you'd call me a Washingtonian. That sounds very formal.
And I'm native.
Yeah, I actually was born in Maine, but moved here when I was 3. So I'm not a
Wow.
born and raised, but I'm definitely native.
Well, you're honorary now.
Yeah.
You know, you've
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like if you've been here for more than 20 plus years, you probably Oregon.
I'm barely there.
Well, we'll make you an honorary Oregonian as
Good.
well. Was there any other like things that you wanted to share, or you feel like you didn't get a chance to answer while we were on this?
I think we did. Yeah, I think we covered. Do you have any other questions for us?
No, I think we'll end it right there then. Thank you very much for your time. I will make sure to add contact information in the either below, above, wherever it is. I'll make sure to get Anne's and Jen's contact information in there along with mine. Thank you very much, ladies. I appreciate your time, and I hope you have a wonderful day.
You too.
You too.
Bye.
Thank you very much for watching the video. If you like the content, feel free to like and subscribe. And if you have any questions, feel free to contact us. I will also be looking into the comments, and if you have any other questions, maybe we'll have a second video where we can answer a little bit more of your questions.